Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, lunes, el 6 de febrero. Your homework due for today was guided workbook pages 83 and 84. Core workbook page 44. You guys can find the scanned copies, PDF copies right here. Click and download those. You can always just write your answers in your notebook or print out, fill out, and take a picture and submit, or annotate as a PDF, whatever you choose. The PowerPoint and notes that we went over last class to help you with this homework can be found here, and then a video walking you through that assignment. So that is due for next class, due for today. And then you have no homework due for next class. You do have a quiz on the preterite on Friday. Daily objectives: use the preterite simple past tense to talk about what you did or did not do over the weekend. Learn some vocab with regard to food and clothing in Spanish that has an Arabic origin, and then learn about the history of textiles in Latin America prior to Spanish colonization. Your warm-up for today is utilizing the notes that we've taken the past couple classes. Questions: ¿Qué hiciste el fin de semana pasado? What did you do over the weekend? We'll do a quick review of the notes that we took last class. Review the pair practice that we did last class as well. I may not have finished. We'll review the homework that's due for today, and then the reading, Los textilos y el cuero, which can be found on pages 112 and 113. Here are the notes from page 110. There you have your regular AR, ER, and IR endings. They're a little bit jumbled up on page 110, which is why I elected to lay them out here differently, nice and organized. AR and then ER, IR endings. On page 110, we talked about how verbs that have a stem change in the present do not have a stem change in the past. And then we talked about car, gar, zar verbs. Car, gar, zar verbs have a spelling change, and here you can see the spelling change articulated for car, gar, and zar verbs, respectively. And that spelling change only happens in the yo form. Only in the yo form, and none of the other forms. Tú, el, ella, usted, nosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Those other forms do not have the spelling change. They would just use the same endings, and again, no change to the C, G, or Z in car, gar, zar verbs. So exercise 13 we began last class, and I believe finished. If not, we'll finish it together today. Ask you to conjugate the verbs in the infinitive in parentheses according to the subject that comes at the very beginning. Elena's writing a letter to her grandmother, and you're writing the appropriate form of the preterite of the verbs provided in parentheses for each phrase, using these endings, yeah? And if there are any car, gar, zar verbs in the yo form, then you would use these endings, or these spelling changes, rather, that take place before the yo form ending. So that was exercise 13. For exercise 15, you're using these phrases here in the purple box that refer to time. And I'll go over them with you again. Esta mañana is this morning. Anoche, last night. Ayer would be yesterday. La semana pasada, last week. El mes pasado, last month. El año pasado, last year. And then hace, with any measurement of time, is going to be however long ago. So, hace 2 semanas would be 2 weeks ago. Hace un mes would be 1 month ago, right? So using those expressions of time indicate how long ago you or anybody you know did these activities. For example, comer en un restaurante, to eat out at a restaurant. How long ago did you or anybody you know eat out? Anoche mis amigos y yo comimos, right? Nosotros comimos, using that nosotros endings for ER verbs, right? Mi familia y yo comimos en un restaurante. And whether it's anoche or ayer or esta mañana, whatever time marker can go either at the very beginning or it can go at the very end. Comprar un regalo is to buy a gift. When's the last time you bought a gift? Or someone you know? When's the last time they bought a gift? Conjugate comprar according to your subject, and then use one of those time markers. When's the last time you or someone else prepared food? Preparar la comida. ¿Cuándo fue la última vez que viste una película? To watch a movie. ¿Cuándo fue la última vez que escribiste una carta por correo electrónico? When's the last time you wrote an email? La última vez que decoraste para una fiesta? Decorated for a party. La última vez que bebiste un refresco? The last time you drank soda. La última vez que saliste para una fiesta? The last time you went out to a party. And la última vez que te despertaste? The last time you woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning. Follow that model, conjugate the verbs according to your subject, and then choose at the very beginning or at the end of your sentence, choose one of those markers of time. And then we're going to go over the correct answers, having gone over the first parts of the agenda, the notes. There's a PowerPoint here as well that you guys can go over that we looked at last week. It talks about how the preterite is used, why the preterite is used, the conjugations. So that's really important to take a look at as well. But having gone over the notes and reviewed the pair practice, we're going to go over the homework, which again, you guys can find explanations of the homework in the video that's created for that assignment. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the reading on pages 112 and 113. And again, no homework due for next class. Just make sure that you turn in the homework that was due for today, guided workbook pages 83, 84, and core workbook page 44. All right, let's take a look at the questions for the reading that's on page 112 and 113. Question number 1. ¿Qué cosa usaron los indígenas precolombinos para hacer sus telas? What thing or what invention did the indigenous populations use to make their fabrics, and what were the fabrics made of? ¿De qué estaban hechas? What kind of material? So invention and material to make their fabrics for number 1. ¿Cuándo empezaron a usar los indígenas la lana de oveja en sus telas tradicionales? When? ¿Cuándo? When did the indigenous people begin to use wool in their traditional fabrics, and where did this wool come from? So, time marker, we're looking for a time reference, and location reference or origin for number 2. And all the answers can be found, in this timeline here between pages 112 and 113. And then finally, number 3, ¿Quién inventó la desmontadora de algodón? Who invented the cotton gin? ¿Y cómo cambió la industria de algodón? How did it change the industry of cotton? Number 3, you're going to find here on the second section or segment of the timeline. And those are your questions. Again, they're all text dependent. See if you can find the fragments that relate to each of those questions. And that will do it for today's agenda. Again, homework due for today is there, and no homework for next class.